New York Attorney General files Trump lawsuit. Barr calls it a political hit job driven by the left's desire to punish him. The lawsuit seeks to bar Trump and his children from serving as officers for any New York corporation. Welcome back, all you thought criminals and mega extremists. And those that are new, welcome. First, before we start, I've been getting a lot of messages. People aren't getting notifications that are members and subscribers to this channel. Now, lately I went from 20 to 30 new subs a day to 6 to 8 a day, sometimes 10. The sum of the algorithm overlords has pretty much pressed me down. Those of you check your subscription status. And if you haven't pushed that notification bell, please do and let me know if you are getting the notifications on new channel videos. Enough of that. Yeah, this is ridiculous. Let's go through this. Let's see what Bill Barr has to say first.
Here, yes. It would seem that her goal is to bar anybody with the last name Trump from ever working for the Trump organization again.
Right.
It would seem that her goal is to eviscerate the family business. What do you think of what she's doing?
It's hard for me not to conclude it's a political hit job. And this is a woman who campaigned for office promising she was going to go after Trump, which I think is a tremendous abuse of office to go headhunting and targeting individuals. So I think she was targeting Trump. And this is, after 3 years, a civil lawsuit, the gist of which is that when the Trump organization borrowed money, Trump personally guaranteed those loans. And to support that, she's claiming that he inflated his assets on his financial statements. Now, I'm not even sure she has a good case against Trump himself, but what ultimately persuades me that this is a political hit job is she grossly overreaches when she tries to drag the children into this. Yes, they had roles in the business.
Well, instead of going through the whole thing, you get the idea. Former Attorney General Bill Barr dismissed the lawsuit filed by the New York Attorney General. I live in New York. I have some skin in the game, at least as a resident. It is a hit job. I'm sorry. It's in civil court, mind you. This is not criminal court. Basically, the crux of this whole thing is this. They said the Trump organization vastly inflated the value of properties they use as collateral, plus personal guarantees, to get loans in the past. Now, these loans have been long paid back. All the banks got their interest. Everybody's happy. And they inflated it. Now, Trump even said, and it makes sense, even if Trump tells the truth, the people that hate him won't listen. What he said was this: these huge banks and lending institutions, national, even worldwide, these guys are sharks. So what they're saying is the Trump organization and Trump and his kids inflated dramatically the value of properties they put up as collateral for loans. Now, do you think for a minute that these banks and lending institutions said, oh, okay, this is how much they're worth, this is how much the income is? Oh, all right, not a problem. Of course they don't. They check into it. They check into its value, its assessment under the tax rolls, all the things they do. They look at tax returns for the income that the property generates, if any. And there's a long list of things they do. Make sure there's enough insurance, and the insurance is proper. They go through a huge list of things because these guys are in that business. And she's saying, the Attorney General of New York, well, those guys hoodwinked all these poor, innocent lending institutions. What a crock of bull. It's amazing to me. She filed a lawsuit on Wednesday morning against Trump and several of his family members. Numerous acts of fraud and misrepresentation on years' worth of financial statements. James said Trump inflated his net worth by billions of dollars to secure loans, and he had help from his children. Again, these banks, these lending institutions are huge. And Trump called them sharks. They are. Do you think for a minute that he hoodwinked them all? Seriously? The New York State Supreme Court permanently barred Trump and his children from serving as officers in any New York corporation, and bar the former president and Trump organization from participating in commercial real estate acquisitions or applying for loans in the state for 5 years. The involvement of Trump children in the suit grossly overreaches, Barr said, calling it further proof of the Attorney General's political motive. She ran, I'm going to put Donald Trump in jail when she ran for Attorney General. Yep. With zero evidence. That was her mantra. That was her main election selling point. I'm going to go after Trump and put him in jail. With zero evidence, zero case when she said it, nothing. Unbelievable. Yes, the children had roles in business, but this was his personal financial statement prepared by CFO. Accounting firms were involved, and the children are going to know the details of that. Nor do they expect in the real world to do their own due diligence and have it reviewed independently. Of course they did. Unbelievable. And here's the thing. Barr said her decision to bring a civil case, not a criminal one, against Trump likely means she lacks evidence to support the allegations. Yeah, of course. That's the one thing I don't like. California does it. I'm not sure on New York. Say you were brought to trial for a, we'll just say, assault charge, or you're in a DWI and you hurt somebody and you were found innocent. We'll say of manslaughter or negligence or anything else. You can turn around and sue them in civil court. You can do it in California where the level of evidence is much lower. I consider that double jeopardy. They say, well, it's not, because if you sue in civil court, the person doesn't go to jail. Yeah, but you take everything they have and every dime they have in the future, depending on what state you live in, and they can't live for the next 30, 40 years. Yeah, that's just as bad as putting them in jail. You think the suit would backfire on James because the public will perceive it as a fulfillment of her campaign promise? Yeah, of course. There's strong desire to punish him. What is Trump's crime? What is his real crime ultimately to these people, these progressives and Democrats? The crime that Donald Trump committed was he was elected president of the United States. That's his crime. The loans were paid back. They were successful investments, and the banks were paid back. I'm sure the banks made a bunch of money, and I'm sure the Trump organization made a bunch of money. That's what this is for. That's what lending institutions do. So you spent 3 years, and it seems to me you're trying to make it good in a campaign promise. Unbelievable. Today's filing is neither focused on the facts nor the law. See, that's the thing. It costs the Attorney General zero amount of money to prosecute. In this case, sue in civil court. It costs the taxpayers of the state of New York tons of money for all the lawyers and all the filings and just everything, the investigations and hiring outside people to look. But it doesn't cost them personally, whereas the Trump organization has to pay all this money out. Probably millions in legal fees. It's called punishment by the process. And they're going to keep going after him and keep going after him and keep going after him. And it gets to a point where even people that don't like Donald Trump are going, you know what, come on, enough's enough. But here's the weird part, and Trump was right when he said this. All these legal hassles and filings would go away in a minute if he announced he wasn't running for president. And he's absolutely right. This is weaponizing the criminal justice system, in this case at the state level. We already know all about it at the federal level, the DOJ, the FBI, and even sometimes the CIA, depending. It's out of control. Out of control. It makes Watergate look like a shoplifting charge. And we're not even into October, and for the infamous October surprise. Oh, my God, what are these people that crazy, or are they that afraid they're going to lose power and be exposed for the hypocrites and the power grabber mongers that they are? All I can do is sigh and say until next time, goodbye and good luck.